following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Big Yak Podcast. As always, this is your host, Mike Pareto. Alongside me, co-host Nico, Alumni as usual.
Hey, we're back at it.
And we have a special guest on today. We have our dear friend, Dexter Griffin.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
How are you, Dexter? You know, we've been friends for a long time now. We've been playing football for a long time.
Yeah, high school.
Went to high school together. But yeah, tell the viewers, about yourself.
I have a 1-year-old child. She's the best thing in the world. I played football with Mike. Skipped class with Nico. Yeah, I work at a day hab program for people with disabilities. That's pretty fun. I enjoy doing that. That's about it. Don't got much going on.
Yeah.
Low-key good man, Dex.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about a little, we both mentioned we played football together. I mean, describe playing football in Niagara Falls High School. Just like the experience, like funny story you might have, because I know we have a bunch of funny stories, especially with like Santino and like Coach Robbins' story. What else? Stuff like that.
I don't know. I think one of the craziest things about football was, remember Pat No Savage would kill a 40-pack of Timbits?
Oh, before
Speaking
games?
of Pat No Savage.
He's got the hat on, yeah. Shout out Pat.
Pat's been doing great things over in Niagara Falls. I know you just shot over at his
art gallery.
Yeah, he's been doing
I want to get to that, actually.
I've been meaning to pick a time, too. I mean, he has a whole gallery set up over there. But back to the 40-pack of Timbits.
He would just kill a 40-pack of Timbits and then ready to go, bro. I'm like, all right, this guy's a dog.
Yeah. Well, another funny story about Pat was you have like the Timbit story, and I remember like we would go before a game, like we'd go to like Williamsville North and just go to Tim Hortons before we leave on the bus. Yeah, he would just down like a 40-pack of Timbits and then like a cream cheese bagel or like something else, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, how can you eat that before?
So you're saying next time I see him, I should bring a 40-pack of Timbits, and he'll know.
He might love you. But a funny story about Pat is, the one season he played, it was our senior year, and I remember he subbed in for somebody at a defensive tackle, and I just remember like he came out there with his glasses, and he didn't like want to play with his glasses on, so like mid like substitution, he takes his glasses off and just yanks them, just like middle of the field, just. Yeets them onto the sideline. I'm sitting here and I'm like, what? Like, why?
Your glasses are better off staying on your face.
Well, as a lineman, you just have that right in front of you, so you can see a little blurry.
Yeah, you're banging heads every play. I mean, they're probably expensive glasses.
That's true. That's true.
Mrs. Fortin, shout out Mrs. Fortin. Probably bought them and probably was like, Patrick, don't break them sunglasses. That's probably what it was. So, yeah, I mean, we just had a lot of great times, especially just like, me, you, Malik, Santino, Chris Clark. Yeah, we'd always I remember all 4 years, we would always sit in the same section. Like, it's like the one section was the skills players.
Yeah.
I remember, Peso and, Cortez.
The stars of the
team. Shakur, they all sat on, the one side. And on our side, it was always, me, you, Like when Dame played the one year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Clark was always on our side too. Santino was always on our side. And then you had like a couple of other like fillers like here and there. But it was just, yeah. I mean, I miss those days a lot.
I remember the one year. You remember John Tench?
Oh yeah, John Tench.
He was messing with Malik, so Malik 5-starred him. And
Bro, I have a picture of that on my
Oh
phone.
my god, that was crazy.
It was funny because he was standing where like the lockers were, and literally like jumped off of the lockers and just
like a ninja, dude.
like
Like,
a
it was
ninja.
like an anime scene.
and just slapped him. And the funny, I took a picture right after it happened. Like it happened to be on my phone, and you just see the picture of his back is just an outline of a hand.
Like,
Like
perfect outline.
outline.
Like someone took like a marker and just.
Yes.
Yes.
In red.
Red and skin. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, I mean, let's go on to our 2-minute drill.
Right.
We're gonna put you through the 2-minute drill. You know, Dexter is a fan of our show. You know, he's watched every episode, so he's pretty familiar with what the 2-minute drill is. Anybody who doesn't know, 2-minute drill, just what's around NFL and some random questions me and Nico might have.
We get through it in 2 minutes or less.
Yeah, 2 minutes or less. I mean, we had Vranic, I know, beat the time.
He killed that.
Yeah, Vranic did it.
Jules bodied it.
Yeah, Jules bodied it. Other than that, though, I mean,
Yeah, you got
Kinda.
some steep competition coming up. The
Steep
last
competition.
2-minute drills have been completed.
yeah.
All right, let's hope I can get through.
Let's do it. So yeah, whenever. Are you
Ready in 3, 2, 1. Take it away, Mike.
All right. So first question I have for you is: Bears linebacker Roquan Smith has demanded a trade. Is he deserving of a big payday? Being a Vikings fan as well.
Yeah, I say so as a Vikings fan. I get to watch him 2 times a year.
Yeah, because he also is planning to play out the rest of his contract. So I heard that,
Yeah,
but
he was pretty emotional about that too.
yeah, if he was on the Vikings, would you pay him? Also,
What does he want? You know what he wants?
I don't know. Probably top
Probably
linebacker.
league setting.
Yeah.
Traylon Burks has only 1 catch this preseason. Do you trust him in fantasy this year?
Not early. Maybe stash him, hold him late. Maybe late in the season he'll come back.
Okay. Tampa Bay has lost potential starting guard Aaron Stinney. He was supposed to be Ally Marpet's replacement because he retired. Tampa's O-line has taken a hit this year with injuries. Should Bucs fans be worried? Like,
With Tom Brady as your QB, absolutely. He's not as mobile. He's older. You don't know if he could take those hits.
yeah, and I mean, it's just Tampa Bay has always had a good line ever since, like, especially Brady's been there. It's just
Yeah.
like their line has always been great, but now it's looking a little sus. So we'll see.
They just got Shaq Mason, right?
No, I don't
No?
think they have Shaq.
They-
He might have Shaq Mason, but yeah, they might have Shaq Mason.
Juju Smith-Schuster is entering year 1 with Kansas City. Will he eclipse 1,000 yards this season?
I think so. I heard he was doing pretty good at camp till he just got hurt. But I think it could be a resurgence for Juju, especially with Pat Mahomes.
Kirk Cousins, over or under 40 touchdown passes this year?
Under.
Under.
I'm confident in Cousins, but I'm not putting him on a super high pedestal.
Okay.
Vikings over under 8 wins this season.
Over. I'm all in.
All right.
All in. All right, and we got 2 minutes to spare, or 2 seconds to spare in the
Let's
2-minute
go.
drill. Nice job. Nice job.
Congratulations. So Dex wanted to talk to us a little bit about the Kirk Cousins slander that was on last episode.
All right.
So
Listen, Kirk Cousins, he's not a superstar. Okay, I'm not saying he's a superstar. I'm saying he's better than what he gets credit for. I feel like he got paid, he got that bag, and then started to get hate, started to get underrated a little bit.
So I got Taj isn't here to so I'm gonna just say what Taj was going to say.
Okay. He doesn't win.
Kirk
he
a
win?
loser, and that's
Does
how
he win?
Taj would say
Yeah.
it. Taj would go right up. He'd be like,
Right.
Kirk a loser.
But listen, Matthew Stafford, all right. What was he doing in Detroit? Losing. He goes to the Rams. He's a winner. His record though is still a losing record. Kirk Cousins 500.
He is. I mean, I think he's exactly.
Yeah, it's like
500,
58 and 2. So whatever, if that comes out to 500, but
he really didn't have a bad season last year. He had his touchdown passes to interception ratio was like 33-7.
right. And I mean, listen, his coach Zimmer did not like him from the gate. In the free agency going into that, he didn't want him. He wanted a Teddy or Case, someone cheap. But he got stuck with Kirk. And since then, you could tell he didn't like Kirk. You could tell there was some animosity between them. So with a coach, maybe, hopefully he could get in.
Would you say that Kirk is a dark horse MVP candidate this year? Would you go that far?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
So he's borderline between, solid QB and MVP candidate.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle of that.
He quickly went from overrated to underrated, So I feel like...
I definitely think by the end of his playing career, I definitely think that he'll at least get like a playoff win or two. I mean, looking at the division, I mean, we don't really know. I mean, with the Packers, they lost Devontae Adams. You don't really know what that offense.
I still give the Packers the first seed.
Yeah, you still. I think
if Aaron Rodgers is there, you can't.
You can't write them off, and their defense is solid. But it's. Do you think the Vikings can, make a run for the NFC North title this year?
I think so. It's a whole different team. They're running a whole different defense, a whole different offense and everything. So I think there might be time, like a period in time where they got to adjust. So maybe late in the season they could make that run. But I think it is going to be an uphill battle in the start.
Okay.
Especially because we got Green Bay week 1. So.
Oh, yeah, you do. Let's go on to our next segment. Let's go on to our fantasy segment. As many of you guys know, we've talked about the Jules League. We've talked about my leagues in the past. Unfortunately this year I'm not doing one. But me, Dex, and Nico are all in Jules' league. And we have a draft coming up this Friday. As
this time on the show next week, we'll be recapping that draft.
We'll be recapping the draft. So basically every year we go to the Anchor Bar in Niagara Falls. Our friend Dame, who's also in the league, he gives us a reservation, and we go there and we have a draft party.
It's the tradition.
It's a tradition. We have wings, beer.
I know. I'm sad I missed it last year. I was at work and I had to draft from work.
Working. Wow.
That was a different.
What'd you finish? 10th.
So you can tell, there's some correlation does equal causation in that.
Well, I was at the draft where I finished 12th. So.
Yeah, it's always good times though. But before we talk about that draft more in depth, I want to talk about some fantasy stories with Dexter. I know me and Dexter and Nico, we've all been in fantasy leagues.
There's a common theme with our guest lists.
Yeah.
Most of the time they've been in fantasy leagues with us, and most of the time we're beating up on each other every week. Yeah, so do you have any fantasy stories you want to share with us?
Not in ours or Jules' league, but there's one me and Nico are in, right? And...
this is your league, right?
Yeah.
So, a little preface. Dexter's league is not your standard fantasy football league.
Yeah.
It's a 2 QB, 2 tight end league.
Big bonuses.
QB bonuses are huge. I mean, we're talking like, what is it? It's every 10 yards is a point. So, like, if for quarterbacks, 10 yards passing is a point in the same way that running backs, 10 yards a point, wide receivers, 10 yards a point.
Yep.
So
and like every 300-yard game is like another 5 points. So crazy bonuses.
For the first the first year that you did it, I don't think anyone caught on except for myself. And so like I took QB in rounds 1 and 2, and then everyone was roasting me and was like,
who
why
was
would
it? You took Pat and who else?
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen going into 2020.
Got the 2 best quarterbacks in fantasy right there.
But yeah, so I remember I was trying to build something crazy, made a trade, got vetoed. I threw a whole tantrum. But no tantrums this year in my league.
No tantrums.
They just didn't want to see me win, I guess. But
did you win? Who won last year in the league?
I did win.
You did win the league. Okay. I mean, I could see a little bit of them like trying to put down
But it's just a weird league because since it was a 2 QB league like that, everyone was drafting like
there were a lot of Bills
sporadically.
fans in that league,
yeah.
Like, we had, I think Cole Beasley was like a high draft pick last year, and like it was one of those leagues where like if you knew what you were doing, you were making the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like one of those leagues where like one of those people who are like they play fantasy but they're not like invested in the fantasy that crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like one of those leagues where you kind of just like take advantage.
So
pretty much what it was.
Some of that. I mean, not to sound like that, but I mean, in some league, even like the Wegmans league, Nico. I know. You, and like Taj always run that league most of the time, and we just beat up on
back-to-back champ. Just saying.
Exactly. We just like beat up on the other.
I got a funny story about that. So this year is the first year my cousin reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to do a family fantasy football draft?
Oh Lord.
And I'm like, yeah, like I'm down. Put me in as many leagues as possible.
Is this Sean,
And
right?
no, this is on my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
So this is like my cousins, my sister's in it, my dad's in it, and everyone except for my cousin who asked me to do it and her boyfriend were like everyone else. It's their first time playing fantasy. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, listen to the podcast, give us some tips. But everyone thought that I was the one that set it up. And so they're like, well, this is just an easy money grab for Nico. Right. $25 in the pot. Oh, he's just taking $200 at the end of the season. Exactly. Like, I wasn't even the one that like came up with this. I was reached out.
I just showed up.
Don't hate the player, no.
Did you do the draft yet or no?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
So it's my first, and it's my first draft. It's only an 8-person league. So,
those are cheese, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit.
If you like, it's so hard to screw up an 8-person league, and especially if it's with your family. I mean, Nico, you better.
Especially if you have the knowledge advantage.
I'm gonna be busting out the NFL draft kit that I have coming up for this season. This if anyone's interested in it, I will be selling the draft kit once it's done, but we're still in its prototype. I mean, it's got ADP across multiple different apps. Mm-hmm. It's got comparisons between each of the apps. It's got differences, and then I'm still working on the rankings and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's going to be coming out pretty soon. But it will help me for this draft tomorrow.
There you go. Okay. So let's talk about Nico also. He came up with a fantasy fade list. So a list that, you want to fade away these fantasy players this season. So let's take a gander.
So thanks to my lovely fantasy draft kit this year, I've been able to compare and contrast a lot of ADP across the main leagues. I mean, I have Sleeper, ESPN, and not Yahoo Sports. I took out Yahoo Sports because it was too much of a hassle. But NFL.com and Underdog. And a lot of hot money players are on Underdog. And so I kind of give a little bit more weight to Underdog's ADP compared to ESPN or NFL. Because you get a lot of first-time players on there. Sleeper is a little bit better. So I made a list comparing Sleeper and Underdog and looked for some discrepancies across the way. So this is my first time really like dabbling in Excel too, so it was kind of fun just getting to know the program and like how powerful it was. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts on some of these. So my number one player to avoid this year is going to be Kenneth Walker III.
Walker,
running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
I could see it, but number one, I mean,
so
that's
Sleeper has him at ADP of 81. Everywhere else, I'm talking NFL, ESPN, Underdog, at least ADP of 100. And for those of you who don't know, ADP is average draft position. So this is where people are picking him. So, if you have the 81st overall pick,
don't draft
Sleeper's telling you to take Kenneth Walker.
But Nico's telling me not to get him.
I'm saying fade him. Fade him. So, I mean, here's why. Other players around this 80 ADP is Kareem Hunt. You even got Gabriel Davis, who's going to have an expanded role in Buffalo's offense. DeAndre Hopkins, who will be out the first 6 weeks, but I mean, he's a top 5 receiver in the league after that 6 weeks.
Yeah.
7th round and that pick is in the 7th round, and that's also a hot spot for QBs. So you can see like Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and then you also have Damian Harris and Juju Smith-Schuster that could slide down into that role, and I'm much more comfortable taking those players ahead of Kenneth Walker.
I could see it, honestly. I mean, Rashad Penny is going to be this day one starter.
I have that noted, too.
Yeah, Penny's going to be the day one starter. I mean, I do agree Sleeper does have his ADP a little too high.
I mean, we're talking 2 rounds ahead of where he's getting drafted everywhere else.
Yeah, so I could see it, honestly. I don't know if I'd have him at 1, but he's going to be up there because all the mock drafts I've done, I may have taken him once. I've done a lot of mock drafts in the last month.
If he falls, where would you take him? Or you're not taking
I'm
him
more
at
comfortable
all?
taking him at like the 100 range. Okay. So that's a 20-point differential that we're talking about here. So if he falls to me in round 9, 10, around there, then I'm gonna grab him because the upside is there, and we're in a keeper league specifically for this league. So if I was in Jules' league, he could be a potential keeper if he takes the front line of that backfield, but. Other than that, I mean, you got Rashad Penny, you got DJ Dallas, who seems to always find his way onto fantasy rosters.
True.
He's got that hernia that he's been dealing with. And then in his first preseason game, he ran 5 times and got 19 yards out of it. So, I don't know. I'm staying away from him at least for the first few weeks. If he starts to pop off, then I'll bite my tongue. But
Right.
Who else do you have on
I
that
got
list?
Pat Fryermuth, who's getting drafted at pick 104 on Sleeper. And that makes him tight end number 11. So other players around that 100 ADP range is Robert Woods, Christian Kirk, Ramondre Stevenson, who might be taking that number 1 role in the Patriots backfield, and Brandon Ayuk, who's building solid rapport with Trey Lance. So the QB situation right there, we don't have a set QB. I mean, it's either going to be Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. But for what you're getting at 104, at tight end 11 too.
There's better options.
I don't think that he's going to finish as a top 12 tight end this year. So I'm not going to draft him as the 11th best tight end.
And especially with not knowing the QB situation, because maybe he has a better rapport with Trubisky. Maybe Trubisky gets hurt, or just Pickett takes over, and then there's not that rapport.
And here's my thing with tight ends this year is once you're out of the big five, you got Kelsey, Waller, Mark Andrews, Kittle, and Pitts. And beyond that, it's a crapshoot. It's a complete crapshoot, and there's so much more value in the later rounds for tight ends than picking, round 8 or round 9 to grab Pat Fryermuth or this next guy, Mike Gesicki.
Back-to-back tight ends.
Yep, I got Gesicki up there too. He's getting drafted way too high for the same exact reasons. People want that tight end. They see all the good tight ends off the board, and they're like, "Well, shit, I got to get a tight end." You don't need to get the tight end that late. I mean, he might finish sub top 12, if that. And then there's too many hands in the pot with me.
I was about to say, there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Chase Edmonds is going to get some backfield looks. I mean, who's their 4th round pick? I forget his last name, but he's already looking to be the number 4 pass catcher back there. So, there's just too many mouths to feed, and Tua's not going to throw it too much, I don't think. With that backfield and with Mike McDaniel as their head coach, you're going to see a lot of run after catch and a lot of. But I don't know. I'm staying away from him.
Okay. I mean, I do understand, especially with Fryermuth. I do understand the argument with like the quarterback uncertainty with Miami. I mean, you do know who your guy is in Tua, but then again, like there's so much. This is his like make it or break a year. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he's sitting there, I just feel like with Gesicki, if he's sitting there and I need a tight end like desperately, then I would take a gander. It just all depends on what my team is looking like, honestly. That's Fryermuth I can wait on. Gesicki I might gander into it.
The thing is with tight ends, you're gonna wind up into that situation every single year. There's a new like darling tight end that you pick up off of waivers and pops off. Last year was Dawson Knox. The year before that, I think, was Robert Tonyan. There's gonna be so much more value later on, or even in the waiver wire that it's not worth that 9th or 10th round pick. When I'm looking at sleepers, you have guys that are sticking out like Garrett Wilson or Robert Woods, like I talked about, Sky Moore, rookie out of Kansas City.
You said Ayuk was around there too, right?
Brandon Ayuk is around there. Tyler Boyd is around there. If T. Higgins or Jamar Chase misses any time, Tyler Boyd is an instant top 20 receiver.
Even when they're healthy, I mean, it depends. Like obviously with Chase having that explosion of a year last year, they're going to be focusing on him too. So it's going to open up, I feel like, more targets for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is also a slot guy. So he already has he has some separation skills.
Tyler Boyd's very underrated.
He is an underrated guy, and I will always love Tyler Boyd for sending us to the playoffs. That one. Yeah,
Tyler Boyd is one of my sleeper picks, but we'll preview that one next week after all my drafts are done. But we got Damian Harris as my last pick for this fade list.
Okay.
So, and here's why: his ADP is around 73. Now, some players around 73, we have Adam Thielen. We have DeAndre Hopkins, who I've already talked about. We have A.J. Dillon that could slide around there. Juju Smith-Schuster. And then you also have all those QBs, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. And again, those same players that I'm fading for Kenneth Walker. And you look at their backfield. Ramondre Stevenson, he is already getting first-team reps. He is going to be their pass-catching back now that James White's retired. He is Harris. He's got Stone Yeah, stones for hands.
Yeah,
He does not catch.
Yeah, the thing about Ramondre Stevenson is he has both. He has a dual threat ability. But the thing about Damian Harris, like, he's a great runner. But
That's the thing.
With Mac Jones in that offense, I feel like you need a guy to pass it out. You need another dimension in that offense because that offense, they had their moments last year, but I think as an overall, I'm not trying to be biased because Bills fan, but I think that offense is a little stale. It is.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
if you incorporate Stevenson in there, they'll be good. But yeah, I do agree with the Damian Harris fade list, especially he's being
like shopped
publicly shopped. Like
That's in my notes. So his value will go up, and I would feel comfortable with him at 73 if he was on any other team.
Yeah.
Any other team that he gets traded to is going to use him like the running back that he is, and he's going to get those looks and he's going to get those opportunities. But with Ramondre Stevenson, like right down his neck.
Patriots running backs in general, it's hard because there's no full committal to them.
Right.
It's
There's the
just-
year where you have Rex Burkhead, James White, and was it? I think it was Damian Harris.
I forgot about that.
All
Rex
three of
Burkhead.
them were
Sony Michel too.
Sony Michel. Exactly. Yeah.
So how about this? Let me ask you this question: if he gets traded before like the season starts, would you still keep him on the fade list? I mean, say he goes to
I think
a
it
team,
depends on the situation.
Yeah, if he goes like a team like who needs a running back?
I'm
Like,
thinking Atlanta off the top of my
Say
head.
he goes to Atlanta, right, and he becomes RB, basically shares that RB1 role with Cordero.
Yep.
Would you have him on the fade list?
No.
No.
This is him as a Patriot.
Okay.
Makes sense.
His value definitely goes up once he goes to running back in the team because Bill Belichick isn't utilizing him in the way that he probably should be utilized, and that's just due to the backfield that they have.
Yeah.
One honorable mention I have, Bills fans are going to get mad at me for this. James Cook is getting drafted way too high in leagues. He's a top 100 player that's getting drafted, and take a look at the last preseason game. Devin Singletary looked great in his first preseason appearance.
Zach Moss
had 2 touchdowns.
Duke Johnson had 2 touchdowns.
Duke Johnson had 2 touchdowns.
Blackshear.
Raheem
also.
Blackshear, I wish he would make the team, but he's not going to make the team.
You'd probably be a practice.
I got
squad
into
guy.
it with Sean the other day about Blackshear.
Listen, he looks good. Like
He looks great.
He should be like he should be a rostered NFL running back.
He is an NFL running back.
But it's just I just don't think he's going to be on this team.
Unless
Dang.
Devin Singletary or Zach Moss got traded away or they went down, like God forbid they got hurt, that's the only time you would see Blackshear on the Bills roster.
Before we go on, how do we feel about Cody Ford being traded? Real quick.
I feel good. I'm surprised we got a 5th out of it.
Yeah, I was about to, because this is a contract year for him, right? So get something.
Yeah, it was just Cody Ford, man. Like when we drafted him, I was happy because he was like a projected like late first round guy. We got him in the second round. I was like, oh yeah, that's
good.
great. But it was just like so many inconsistencies.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs.
Like,
throughout
not
his
only
Buffalo
that,
tenure.
the Bills' offensive line and Brandon Beane with his offensive lines, he values versatility across the board. And Cody Ford is just a guard. You tried him at tackle, and there's a reason why he's just a guard. So you don't have that versatility when you have a guy like Ryan Bates that can play every single position on the line. Now he's going to be the right guard without any sort of competition whatsoever. So
Yeah, I'm happy we got a 5th round pick from him. I just think his time was up here, honestly. And then you got a guy like I thought with our offensive line from that Denver game. I thought they looked really, really good. Like they were stepping in their blocks. Like they were just so more aggressive. It was just like it's so much more of a push.
I mean, take a look at that Josh Allen throw. Deion Dawkins had his guy on lock. I mean, Josh thought about leaving the pocket, but his coverage was so good, he stopped and was like, wait a minute, like I have good coverage, like I'm good.
Yeah, and I do want to, Bills did get a new offensive line coach, Aaron Cromer. We did have him back in the Tyrod Taylor days.
16.
Yeah, the Tyrod Taylor days, and our line was good. Those were the Shady McCoy days. But Shady McCoy was a Pro Bowler.
Incognito, Eric Wood.
Yeah, so I'm feeling good. So good luck in Arizona, Cody Ford.
Hopefully, watch. It's going to become another Wyatt Teller situation where he has
I hope not.
fantastic year, and then
I hope not. So let's talk about let's go to the Jules League again. This is a highly touted league because it's $100 buy-in.
it's fun because it's not only that big pot at the end. every week there's a bonus for highest scored player. Every highest scored team gets a $25 bonus. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving every week.
Right.
Where you could, you could miss the playoffs but still get $50 out of
At least make your money back and hey. All right.
Let's talk about your new keeper. I see this past couple of days you got a new keeper, and let's talk about it. Yeah. So you got Justin Jefferson. What made you? Who was your keeper before?
So I was going back and forth between ETN and Swift.
I remember you had ETN forever.
But
then you had Swift, and I was drafting Swift a ton with my pick. I have pick 10. And then I was like, wait, where's Swift? And I'm like, well, great. Now Dex had him as keeper.
Yeah, and I was able to keep Swift for what would have been a second rounder. So, like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I really wanted to get Jefferson. So I moved up from 11 to 4. Didn't think I'd get him at 4. Got my 11th pick back. Kept Jefferson. No, traded for Jefferson, and then now he's my keeper. I'm buying in. Maybe biased.
He's a first-round pick this year.
And at 11, I mean, okay, I'll take him.
You take a case for him being the number one receiver off the board.
I'm buying it. I don't know if it's biased, but I'm buying it.
I mean, he's proven to be he's a top 5 receiver. He's a top 5 pick. In a PPR league, I will take it to the bank. He's the top 5.
It's also fun, just as a fan, if your top player is your team's top player, that makes fantasy so much more fun. If I didn't have Cooper Kupp as my keeper in the 3rd round, and I am forced to draft a running back, I'd have Stephon Diggs as my 10th overall pick. I mean, I think he's worthy of that spot.
That's a little reason why I did the Josh Allen trade. Yep. Because Josh Allen's my guy. He's my quarterback.
He's my favorite player.
But also he is the best fantasy quarterback. No bias, but if you look on the apps, he's ranked number 1. So.
And you got him in the 2nd rounder. He's your keeper.
Yeah. So he was drafted in the 3rd round last year, and then since you got to sacrifice to
But
pick.
you had a back-end 2nd rounder, right?
Yeah, back-end 2nd rounder.
It was only like a couple pick reach for him.
Yeah, if it wasn't Josh in the mock drafts I was having, I was getting CD at that 2nd pick. That's the thing that was like...
CD's a little high on my list.
Yeah, so CD, it was like Najee. When I had Najee as my keeper, I had Najee first pick, and then almost every mock draft I did was CD at 2nd. And I was comfortable with that. But then I was like, Josh Allen's what we talked about it, 2 episodes ago? Josh Allen was weighed in my face. I traded an 8th for him, like an 8th round pick. And then I just had to sacrifice my 2nd. So, I mean,
you have, 3 6th-round picks still? Like, don't you have, like, a stupid amount of...
So I traded
round picks.
The problem I have is, I traded my 6th round pick during the season to, I forget who I traded it to, but I got Amari Cooper out of it.
Those mid-round trades for future picks were crazy.
I got killed with that. I don't have a 7th or an 8th pick.
Yeah,
this year.
A lot of people did not value their picks.
Yeah. So this is still technically my first year. Up until Friday. This is my first year of actually trading draft picks and all that. So I'm not used to it. Yeah. So back last season, I'm like, I'll give up a 6th round pick for Amari Cooper. Screw yeah. He's with Dallas. They're throwing the ball a lot. It didn't work out in my favor, and now it's hurting me because I can't get that.
And now you're losing a top 70 pick, which.
Yeah. So gave up my 8th. I haven't updated the interview as well. Audience. What I did since then, I moved up from my 9th overall spot in the 1st round. I moved up 2 spots to 7th, just to weigh my options more. In the mocks. Looks a little bit better. Problem is, though, I traded a 11th round pick and a 15th round pick. So now my bench is just not looking good. Like, I'm finishing
drafts.
You're gonna
have to be the waiver god.
Yeah.
Post-draft.
So I made another trade. I traded my 5th round pick for 2 8ths. So I have 2 8ths now. I traded my 1 for Josh Allen. So I'm without 5 and 6. Which hurts.
And I feel you as someone who's out with 7 and 8. You're just gonna be waiting. I'm gonna be going to the bathroom.
Watching your players.
Going up to the bar, grabbing a drink while everyone's drafting. While I'm waiting for my 2 rounds to go by.
Yeah. So I think before Friday, I'm gonna try to get 1 more pick just to try to help my bench. So on draft day, I'm just not sitting there with a very incomplete.
You're gonna have to move back.
I was about to say. You moved up to 7.
Yeah, I moved it to 7. I mean, I'm even cool with like trading back the 4th round pick or like one of my 8ths. I'm cool with trading back to the end of the round just so I could pick up like a 15th or a 14th or something like that. So I'm cool with that. I've played it really risky so far, and I'm scared because it's $100 buy, and I don't know. But like, here's my thing though. I have Josh Allen, and then if I play my cards right, 7th overall pick is usually a good guy too. So. My first
that's still a starter.
My first,
especially we were in a 2 flex league, so that's still a starter.
And the core of your team, I feel like, is the first like 4 picks. Yep. Also, so that's why when I got offered the 2 8th round pick trade, I was like, it was Jules who offered me it. He was like, I'll give you 2 8s for your 4, and I'm like, I'm not giving him my 4. But then we talked a little bit about it more. I got him to do a 5th. So yeah, I mean, your core of your team, I think, is like the first 4 or 5 rounds. So. I still have that core. It's just now that the rest of my picks, I can't afford to like dilly dally.
You got to hit on.
I got to
draft day. You got to move down.
Yeah, I got to hit, and the last 2 remaining.
Know your board.
Yeah, know your board, and the last 2 remaining roster spots. I'm gonna have to literally like when those waivers are available. I gotta really I gotta be on that. Yeah. So.
I mean, you're gonna have open spots, which is nice, but.
Mm-hmm. It's just I never had a league where like I've traded draft picks and did all this risky stuff. And
it is weird. It's different, but it's also really exciting.
It's really exciting. That's the thing.
I mean, hey, you never know. You could be picking up a league winner with those waiver picks.
Right.
I remember I picked up James Conner with my waiver pick the year that he went off in Pittsburgh, and that won me the league just because I was like, yeah, let's go. And then he had 20 points that first week. It was when Le'Veon Bell was holding out.
Mm-hmm. And anything could happen in football. Anything could happen in fantasy. Like you could literally
injury could happen. Anything.
And that's the thing where it's like I don't worry too much about not having enough draft picks. Is your team when you start out the year is completely different at what you ended.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and you can always make trades during the season as well. Like you can finesse somebody and then. Now your odds are in your favor.
Right.
Yeah. So, Draft Friday. Very excited. We're gonna keep you guys updated. The week after.
Probably post something to the page about it.
Yeah.
We'll blast it.
We'll
post our drafts onto the.
Yeah, because we probably have a lot of viewers that are intrigued of what's gonna.
We've been talking about it every week.
Yeah, I know.
10,000 of you listening. I mean, hey, they're all invested now too.
Exactly. Yeah, let's go on to our next segment. I really want to talk about this past week in preseason. It's technically the third week, but it's also like the second. It depends on how you count the Hall of Fame game. Some people count that as like the first week. So, I mean, we did talk a little bit about the Bills blowout with Denver. Let's just, let's dive into that a little bit more. I'm pretty sure, did you guys watch the game?
I think that game taught us more about the Bills than it did the Broncos. Mm-hmm. It told us more about the depth that the Bills have, and I'm not like rating the Broncos any lower because of that blowout game. They didn't play a single one of the starters. Now, if a couple of their starters go down, then it's like, oh no, like we don't have any sort of backup whatsoever. But I think it told us much more about the Bills' depth than anything.
I feel like after the first week, a lot of Bills fans questioned like the depth at quarterback because Keenum and Barkley were kind of not that great. But then I feel like they both played well Saturday.
Yep. There was a lot of people giving Case Keenum hate when he was playing with all the backups in week 1.
Yeah.
Like, why did we trade for this guy? Why is he our second round, or why is he our second quarterback? But
he's a miracle maker.
He got his chance with the ones, and he looked so much better. I think he was 16 for 18, 150 yards and a touchdown, something like that.
Yeah, he looked like a completely different animal, like from last week. Like, and I was one of those guys week 1. I mean, I wasn't like like screw this guy, like why did we draft him? But I was more like just kind of sitting here. I'm like, hey, he didn't really look like I thought Barkley played better.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, this past week I thought Case Keenum looked phenomenal, and I thought James Cook, looked good. He had his, he had like he had a really good 20-yard run.
He looked great.
Yeah,
I'm excited for him.
Khalil Shakur continues to amaze. Like he looks good.
It's like, am I overhyping him too much? Like, is he almost too hyped? But like he backs it up right on the field too.
What round did you guys get him in?
Fifth.
Fifth.
He was a 5th round pick.
Yeah. Fifth round pick. Yeah. And
the Bills had no 4s this year.
Yeah, and he just looks great. He looks like a contributor. He kind of looks like, what Gabe Davis was. Like Gabe Davis, I mean, I think Shakira's probably having a little bit better of a preseason than what Gabe did in his rookie year, but Shakir is like one of those late round steals, which Gabriel Davis was. A lot of people were talking about that when we drafted him, and we have a guy like Josh Allen who can develop him into pivotal piece of his offense. So, he's not going to start, obviously.
No, right now he's listed as the third string slot receiver.
Yeah, because they probably...
Behind who?
Jamison Crowder is the second string slot receiver, and Isaiah McKenzie took that starting role.
I like Jamison Crowder, but I think
I think what the Bills are going to do with Jamison Crowder is he's that number 4 receiver. You don't put too much on Khalil Shakir's shoulders. And is the same philosophy as last year about not putting enough on Gabe Davis's shoulders, where they had John Brown the first season and then they had Emmanuel Sanders the next season. Where Gabe Davis was ready, but they didn't want to put all that weight on him. So you're going to see Jamison Crowder as that backup, that fourth guy. You're going to see more Jamison Crowder than Khalil Shakir this year.
And that's why Gabe, that's why he was unleashed.
Yep.
That playoff game, that was the unleashing of Gabe Davis.
I
mean, we saw
he proved. I mean, now he's the starting. He's the starting receiver on the other side of Stephon Diggs.
We saw flashes throughout the first 2 seasons.
I think about that Colts playoff game where he's toe tapping 3 catches
I was
in
about
a row.
to ask if that was the
stuck
toe
in my
tapping
memory.
one.
Yeah, and it was just I mean, I have seen the pros of them going and getting the veteran guys like the Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, I get it. You want to have that veteran guy. He still has that presence. And I think they tried doing that a little bit. I think they tried experimenting with Tavon Austin. He unfortunately got cut. See if he had anything left in the tank.
I mean, you take a look at Stephon Diggs. This is now his 3rd season in this offense. He is that leader in the room. Like you don't need that veteran presence anymore because you have Stephon Diggs, who is your alpha, but also he can provide that help to the young guys.
And I think that's why they were so cool is just letting Cole Beasley walk.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Cole Beasley, still had the talent, but, I mean, you got Stephon Diggs maturing into that role.
Isaiah McKenzie, I mean, he was stepping into their own. He's the Patriot killer right now, so.
The Patriot killer. And then, I feel like, we just always been, the last couple seasons, we've just been looking for that, like, number 2 guy. And that number 2 guy is going to be Gabe.
I'm going back. Just speaking of Isaiah McKenzie, I'm thinking about the show from a couple weeks ago from your brother, and you gave him some. But I understand the precedent of where he's coming from.
What did he say?
Now,
what did he say?
He said that Isaiah McKenzie could be a round 4 to round 6 pick in fantasy drafts. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I agree with him. But you take a look, you got an extra 12th round pick, you got an extra 15th round pick. He's now the starting slot receiver. And Cole Beasley, when he was the starting slot receiver in the Bills offense, I mean, he put up some solid games, especially in PPR.
Season. Well, second team All-Pro.
Cole Beasley. So the games where he gets more than 6 targets, I just read this today. Games where Isaiah McKenzie gets more than 6 targets, his average fantasy point is 27. He's averaging 27 points per game PPR when he gets 6 or more targets. Obviously, that's a very small sample size.
Right,
but now that he's that starting slot receiver, okay, maybe you can take a flyer on him in the 14th round or something like that.
I would say like 13 to 15 range is where I would pick.
He's
definitely draftable.
You can state the case to make him draftable this season.
Let's talk about. Did you watch the Vikings game this past season?
I did not get to watch it. I kept up with the updates, but Kellen Mond looked horrible.
Yeah, 10 for 20, 82 yards, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, we definitely needed a backup quarterback. We just traded for Nick Mullins today.
Today, yeah.
Yep.
I saw that.
7th rounder. So all right. Okay.
Nick Mullins has had his bright spots here and there. Here and there.
But yeah, our QB2 is definitely something we need to work on. So,
because there's still COVID going around. Kirk can get knocked out for COVID like 1 week, and then you need a guy. Injuries happen.
That happened last year.
Yeah, yeah. And Sean Mannion had to start, and that was an embarrassing game to watch.
God.
against the the Packers. Like, the rival we had to start this guy with, but all right.
Sean Mannion versus Aaron Rodgers. What a duel. What a duel.
I'm pretty sure our guard led the team in receivings because he caught, like, a doink.
That's insane.
Not the doink.
That's bizarre.
Very.
Speaking of bizarre games, what about that Giants and Bengals game?
That game, I watched that. What was that? It was last night or the 2 nights ago. I was watching it, and it was just like, I don't even know what the heck was that game. Like, you had, first of all, whoever was the Bengals player who submarined Kayvon Thibodeau, like, shame on you. Like, I saw the video, and it just looked like this man was diving for that knee. And it was just, you have chop blocks here and there, but it's just like, it was too low, man. It was way too low. Thank God, he's only out 3 weeks. He's probably going to miss, like, the first game or two with MCL sprain.
Could have been a lot worse.
For those in the no preseason game camp, like, this game was, like, one of those games that you, like, put on your resume. Like, this is why we don't have a preseason. I mean, two draft picks got hurt for the Giants. The one's done for the year.
Their 6th-round pick is done for the year.
And then you have Thibodeau, who now loses valuable time in the first few weeks, to get started with that defense. But
he's a rookie too, and those rookies for training camp, I mean,
every rep counts.
Every rep counts. I don't care if you're a first-round pick compared to an undrafted guy. Like, every rep counts. So yeah, it just sucks. I mean, to have him get hurt like that. I mean, obviously, if it's something that he couldn't control, I mean, you can't really control that. But like something that didn't need to happen. But like
it wasn't even part of the game. Like it was it's the submarine.
You really just saw it happen. Like I'm pretty sure it was like a pull. I think the tight end pulled, or he did something. Because I think it was a tight end. He just went right for the legs. Like the play already like happened.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. It was just I didn't like that. I saw that. I didn't like it. Other than that, though, Giants had this rookie. His name was Bachman. Bachman had like 2 touchdowns over 100 yards, just going absolutely insane. He had the game-winning touchdown.
The legend of Alex Bachman.
He had the game-winning touchdown, or the go-ahead touchdown with like 30 seconds left. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, where do you find these guys? Like, these guys are just coming out of the woodworks.
I've never heard of him. Originally, okay, here we are. This is his biography from the Giants. Mm-hmm. Originally signed as a rookie free agent by the Los Angeles Rams in 2019.
Oh, so he's been in the year a couple of years.
Waived 6 months later. Signed to the Giants practice squad in 2019. Signed to reserve features. Joined the Giants, left the Giants. Joined the Giants, left the Giants. Joined the Giants, left the Giants.
Oh, my God.
Finally on the Giants again. Here we go. He's the new Jake Kumaro, or that darling preseason player.
I mean, he played well enough yet last night to make a case. I mean, 11 catches, 122 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like,
11 catches in preseason. I mean, he was working, but
yeah, I mean, he looked good last night. I'm like. Is he? Do you draft him in Dynasty League? What is he?
A deep 14-team round 20 sleeper?
I'll pick him up right now.
I mean, having a game like that in preseason, though, man, that might get you like
is he the last 15th round Dynasty draft player.
That might give you like the last like roster spot on the team, like that wide receiver number 7. Yeah, like you'd probably be a practice squad guy. It depends if he could back it up.
Yeah, I don't know. With 0 draft picks in the draft for you this year, Mike, you might be picking up Alex Bachman.
Alex Bachman might be my last bench spot. But yeah, 25-22 Giants victory. I mean, do we have any other headlines? Anything else you guys seen from the last week? This past week?
Did Joe Burrow play yet, or is he still recovering from appendicitis?
I don't think he's played yet. I'm almost positive.
Good.
Yeah, he did not play.
Keep that man in bubble wrap.
Brandon Allen and Jake Browning basically all of last night. So he hasn't played. Like Russ Wilson hasn't played. I would have liked to see him. At least for like a drive or two. But I mean, Brett Rippon. Like going back to the Broncos game, Bills Broncos.
Brett Rippon was ripping.
Brett Rippon, dude, he looked good.
He was ripping.
I know he was against like our third stringers, but like.
I mean, that's what more can you ask of for your backup quarterback?
Right.
He was like 20 for like 26. I mean, that's pretty good.
Okay.
And with how deep the Bills roster was, like that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you guys seen from the preseason? Like any like crazy highlights you guys seen at all, or anything like that. I mean, going back to the Vikings game, to further Sean's point from last week, Brock Purdy had another decent game against you guys.
Who the F is Brock Purdy? Here he is.
Who is Brock
Here
Purdy?
he is.
I mean, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Brock Purdy is going to outperform. I don't know. I forget what Sean said. He said something outrageous, Brock Purdy, if you're Trey Lance, watch it. He said something along those lines. And I'm like, I don't know if I go that far, but, I mean, I do like Brock Purdy coming out of college. So he's looked good so far this preseason. So
Antonio Gibson, he's been kind of shaky as of the last couple weeks.
I had him on a dynasty team. I had to get rid of him.
Yeah, so he might be. I mean, he doesn't have that firm grasp at that number one running back role that the rookie Brian Robinson has been, really impressing in camp.
And J.D. McKissick gets a lot of the receiving work too. So
you might see a 50-50 split. I might have to add him to my fade list.
I was gonna say that. If I had a couple of people to add to your fade list, Antonio Gibson is definitely up there.
I mean, he's getting drafted around the 4th round. It's way too high for him, especially when you got so much more potential around there.
While we're still on the topic too, I mean, another name I'm gonna throw out there. I'm gonna throw out Miles Sanders for fade list as well.
That one I feel like goes without saying too.
But at this point, what's his ADP like? Miles
70.
Sanders.
Sleeper has him at 69. And Jalen Hurts, AJ Dillon, Juju Smith-Schuster, Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chris Godwin. Those are other names that are coming around that time. I'm staying far away from Miles Sanders unless he falls to me at pick 120 or something like that.
Yeah, Sanders, I'm keeping.
Because who do they got there too? Who also is
Kenneth Gainwell,
he's kind of taking reps from him.
Who is a late round sleeper because of his role in that offense and because of Miles Sanders' lack thereof.
Yeah,
where you might see a 50-50 split, you might have him as in a 2-flex league, 2-flex 12-team league. Kenneth Gainwell could be a reasonable pickup for.
The Eagles are going to keep passing the ball, too. You have A.J. Brown coming onto the scene. You have Devontae Smith's second year. And then you have, Dallas Goedert. We're going to see
Devontae Smith this year.
Yeah, we're going to see Dallas Goedert unchained this year. Because, no Zach Ertz. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about Dallas Goedert.
I like Dallas Goedert.
But, yeah, I mean, Dallas Goedert, he might be one of those, tight end, little sleeper tight ends. Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
We'll see.
You know how I feel about tight ends in the mid rounds in general. Yeah. If you miss out on the big 5, I'm not gonna try that.
But furthering report about Devontae Smith though is that Devontae Smith is a good because people are gonna they're probably gonna double AJ Brown. Devontae Smith is just gonna be open, and plus second year.
The whole third year is when the wide receiver breaks out is a myth. It's the second year.
Yeah.
Take a look at Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Yeah, just Jefferson. I mean.
You got guys like
so what's
Elijah
Jamar
Moore.
Chase second year like?
Exactly. All I'm saying is in other leagues that I'm in, and if I have that mid round pick, forget a running back. I'm taking Jamar Chase with my mid first round pick.
Oh, for sure.
He's going to be unbelievable. Again, these wide receivers are going to break out in their second year. Devontae Smith, Elijah Moore. I'm really high up on Elijah Moore. I can't even think off the top of my head who else, but. Devontae Smith's going to be great this year.
He could do good.
He's proven to be good value. He's going around ADP of 86, and Underdog has him at 77, so almost a whole round difference. You could probably get him, and I think that's, 7th? You could probably slide him in the 8th round in Sleeper and be fine.
Yeah.
That's a great 8th round pick.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I mean... That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I mean, do you guys have any preseason games coming up this week? I mean, Bills and
Panthers coming up.
Bills Panthers.
Baker Mayfield, does he play a little bit? Does he get that more time? Now that the Panthers named him that Week 1 quarterback, do you think he plays a half this week just to get reps with that first team?
I could see it because before it was kind of like a battle with him and Darnold. Now he could get real live snaps with the first team.
Yeah, I think you should at least the week before or 2 weeks now. I forgot. There's a week off between preseason and regular season now. If I'm Carolina, I'm giving Baker Mayfield some more reps. I would play him like a quarter, honestly.
Like I said, even a whole half. Just give him that time.
Yeah.
Give him 4 or 5 series,
right?
Depending on how long those series last. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Vikings and Broncos actually face off this next week. So maybe you guys could do the Broncos dirty like the Bills did.
Hopefully.
We'll see. I mean, furthering a little bit from the Broncos, that game, the Broncos, their depth is just kind of like a little bit of a question.
I feel like they didn't do enough in their division to keep up with everybody else in that division. Like, they added Russell Wilson, and then that was really it, I feel like. I feel like the other teams did more.
Well, I mean, you get Cortland Sutton back, Javonte Williams. It's time for him to eat this year. Patrick Surtain, I think, is coming back.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain is already, a good young corner.
You got some good young guys on there. So, I do like the Broncos. You were really high on the Broncos last year.
I was.
But injuries kind of took them out, and quarterback play kind of fell off. But I think this year, they could sneak into. I don't think they have enough to take the whole division, but they could sneak into that 7th spot.
That division in general is tough.
They're gonna eat each other alive.
Yeah.
I mean, and that gives the Broncos that opportunity to
sneak
slide in for that.
I see it.
Yeah. Right now, actually, we have the last game of this preseason week. Technically, we have Falcons and Jets going on right now. Falcons are up 16-3 on the Jets.
Okay.
Last week of preseason coming up. Notable games, just put them out there. Packers, Chiefs. You got, we already talked about Bills, Panthers, Vikings, and the Broncos. And then we got, Bucks, Colts. We have Cardinals, Titans, Eagles, Dolphins. Some games to look out for. We're going to talk about it a little bit next show. Also, last show, we did mention that the Emerge Fantasy League was going to be last Friday. We got the dates a little bit mixed up. So, August 30th. So, we're going to tune in. We're going to have a live episode here at Emerge, and we're going to have a collaboration.
Yeah, next week you guys get 2 episodes out of us.
Yeah, technically 2 episodes.
We get our mainstay episode next week, and then we'll get that fantasy. It'll be live. It'll be a little bit different. It'll be more content-based, but, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Tank gave us the call, and we're going to answer.
Yeah, he took the trophy.
Took the trophy.
Dang it, he took the trophy.
Took the trophy too. That's a bad omen.
It's just out in the lobby.
Oh,
I got a Ninja the Coat spray paint.
Okay.
Fair.
I thought he took the trophy already.
No, we gotta get a light
that's
aimed at it. We gotta do some work. We gotta get it ready for next week. We gotta polish it up.
We're gonna get some logos on.
We
there,
gotta
right?
logo it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
We showed the trophy last week, right?
Not last week. I think
Week
it was
before.
2 weeks ago. I remember I took it and I was like holding it up like. Ugh!
We will be hoisting the Emerge Lombardi, and we will be airing it come January, right on this show.
So is it your podcast against his, or is it?
So me and Nico technically face each other, but I mean, we're both on the same show, so I feel like it would be in good hands.
We're rooting for each other when we're not playing each other.
Got you.
So if we end up meeting in the championship game,
it's a win.
It's a win-win.
One way or another, the Big Yak podcast comes out on top.
Yeah, it's like a moral victory, but it is for some money. So I mean, I'm gonna go a little hard if we do face.
Get that trophy.
Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, actually, real quick, NFL Top 100. Did you guys see any of the NFL Top 100?
I did see
Bits and
Mac
pieces.
Jones was over Kirk Cousins, and I think that's garbage.
And Von Miller. Don't forget about that.
I think, dude, Trevon Diggs at 24.
Ahead of his brother, Stefan's at 26.
Let me
Really? I didn't even see that. What?
Let me double check this because I'm almost positive he was 24.
Trayvon Diggs is a interception machine, but he can get dusted.
Right. He will give you the
gets
yardage.
vulnerable.
He'll give you the yardage.
This is who Trayvon Diggs is ahead of in the top 20, top 100 list. Jamar Chase, Nick Bosa, Stephon Diggs, Matt Stafford, Quentin Nelson, Bobby Wagner, Joey Bosa, Dalvin Cook, Mark Andrews, Nick Chubb, Kevin Byard, and Keenan Allen is 35.
I love Trayvon Diggs, but that's too high.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
That's dragging it.
What do you have? 11 interceptions last year? Like
Yes.
that's crazy number. But
I wouldn't have him at 24. I'd have him.
Not after he's allowing 1,000 yards. Like I think he ended up allowing like 1,100 yards last season.
Yeah. I'm still keeping him on the top 100
Oh,
for
yes.
sure. But it's just top 24.
He's still top 50 for me. But
yeah,
Ahead of a guy like Jamar Chase who had that crazy of a season. Ahead of a guy like
Rookie of the
Stephon
year.
Diggs. Ahead of a guy, Matthew Stafford, who just won a Super Bowl, had a great season with the Rams. I mean, it's just... I don't get it. I mean, I don't really know who does all the voting
Players.
for
it's the players.
It's the
isn't it?
player.
the players vote
Y'all
for
are
it.
tripping. I mean, yeah. I mean, it is whatever. I mean, you can't really take.
Where do we think Josh Allen's going to be? Well, it'll be revealed for our next episode, but I think top 5.
Yeah, he's
gotta
top
be
10
top
for
5.
sure. We're already basically we don't have up until the
top
20
comes
is,
out on Sunday night.
Yeah, he's top 10. So, yeah.
I'm gonna say 4.
I was
Put him at
thinking
4.
4.
I'm gonna.
Aaron Donald ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes will probably be put ahead of him.
I'm gonna say
And then-
6th.
Jonathan
Six?
Taylor.
I'm gonna say
John
6. I don't know
JT
why.
might be ahead of him.
Maybe.
I don't know why. I feel like they're gonna find a way to bonus. Like I don't know. Like just right outside the top 5. You know.
Watch. I love Buffalo media because Josh Allen could be ranked like number 1 and be like, well, why did they say? Why did he say that he might be ahead of? Or
Right.
like he'll be ranked at 4 and he's like, why isn't he 3?
I do know if he's not top 3, Buffalo media is, or top 5. The Buffalo media is gonna.
They're gonna be like 6. Josh Allen's at 6.
They're gonna.
You got like WYRK and like the other where they just like post the articles, the clicky articles.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh Allen was ranked this low? Question mark! Exclamation point!
And then you click it
And then
thinking
he's
it's
top
he's
5.
outside
Yeah.
the top 10, and you're like, dude, he was 4.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Bills Mafia. I mean, I love
I
the
think we
guys.
got to
but-
start doing that for our show. Just be like, oh, you would never believe what Mike said on the show. And then what really Mike said was, yeah, I'm thinking about taking Christian McCaffrey number 2 overall this year.
Yeah. That's all I got. Dex, got any closing remarks?
No.
No. All right. I mean,
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. That's how we like it. That's
Mr.
how
Dex.
we like it. Thank you, Moranto. Thank you, Emerge. Thank you, BICBP Network.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Dex, for coming on. Appreciate you. Coming on the
Taking
show.
time. We got a late one tonight, 10 p.m. as it currently stands. So thank you for staying up.
I enjoy. I'm always
You
down
got
to
your
talk
daughter
about
at
some
home, so
football.
appreciate
Yes,
you
sir.
coming and taking time to talk with us.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, and that's episode 9. We'll see you guys next week. We got a busy week next week. We got our episode, and we got the Emerge League as well. We're gonna have some
Answering
content.
the call.
We're gonna have some content on our page as well. So yeah, see
Follow
you guys
the
later.
medias.
Follow the medias as well. I'll see you guys later.